What is up, everybody? I do not have music. I thought I had some music there. So, welcome to 100 episodes of the Matt Ramage Show, which first started as a rambling Matt Ramage Show, but now I don't ramble as much, so now it's just a Matt Ramage Show. As always, presented by Quick Trip. All right, presented by Quick Trip. Go and get yourself some tasty. Quick Trip is like expanding, like they're doing like so much stuff. They got lots of good food. You can order on the app now and like have your food ready for you. Eventually you'll be able to pay on the app. Like things are happening over at Quick Trip, man. You thought they couldn't get better, but here they are. But I got my good buddy over here. I got Alex Strouf. He is he's having a little bit of technical difficulties. He has no Wi-Fi yet. He just moved into his apartment.
I'm alive.
Yeah. He just moved into a new apartment yesterday, so he's on his phone.
Thursday.
So he's very, very laggy, but he's here. All right.
Oh, that's
but like, so Alex, who everyone knows, who we did like a lot of post game shows last football season. We did I think maybe a few pregame, but we did a lot of shows last season. Like you were in a bunch of my shows, so I thought it was only right to have you jump on for the 100th episode, and I appreciate you, Alex. Can you hear me?
Well, yeah, I appreciate that, dude. It's been way too long, brother. I can hear you, but it's good to be here, man. It's been a while since you and I have chatted last, and yeah, we did a lot during the season. Maybe we'll do some more stuff this upcoming season. But congrats to you, 100 episodes. That's no small feat.
Let's give ourselves a round of applause. No, but
yeah, let's go.
You are so laggy, but it's all right because I can hear you all right. So bear with us, everyone. Alex, he just moved into his first apartment. My son just moved into his first apartment. He moved in with his girlfriend. He goes to school now. I'm not gonna say where he goes to school because people he might not like that. But but he's in a similar situation. But he's got Wi-Fi. He's got Wi-Fi. Like that day, he was like, "I need Wi-Fi that day."
You couldn't have waited another day for me, but that's all right. We'll have to deal with it, and then next week we'll do it again. I'll have Wi-Fi. Everything will be fine.
Yeah, it'll be good. But dude, before we get started with this, because I want to talk about the Bucs, I want to talk a little about the Packers. Aaron Rodgers is playing golf right now with Tom Brady and like all like the great golfers. Nicholson. I'm not a golf guy. I don't know, but and the other guy. But I want to say real quick before we get started, I really appreciate everyone who like listens, like people who watch. Like when I first started doing this, I didn't think anybody would like listen to a podcast and like watch. And like this guy right behind me, haha, Clinton Dix was my first guest on this podcast. Like I truly appreciate. I had Kenny Clark on. I had Tim Boyle, like Kingsley Kiki. Like there were so many players, but not even players like Aaron Nagler, like dude, Andy Herman. Tom Grassi jumped on not that long ago. That was really cool to meet him because Tom Grassi, I think, like no disrespect to everyone else, but like he's the GOAT of Packers podcasts. I think, like I actually was watching him earlier. I just watch his stuff almost like to study, like not even to like, hear what he has to say, but like he's so good at podcasts. And now he just quit his teaching job. So big shout out to Tom Grassi. I think he's fantastic. I love the guy. Like. I really do. I think he's so entertaining, so good at what he does.
King of Packers YouTube for sure, Matty. King of Packers YouTube.
And I'm so happy that he got to quit his job because that's what I want to do. I was like, how can I quit my job? And I have a worse job than him. I assume he liked his job. People who teach, they seem to like it. You know what I mean? They're like getting the next generation ready. Anyways, but shout out to Tom Grass. But like all the people that jumped on my podcast, I don't care if they were players, if they were podcasts, or just a lot of regular people who don't podcast but like to talk about the Packers. I'll have anyone. I don't care. But I'm truly like I appreciate everyone who listens. If it's on the live, if you watch the clips, if you listen to the podcast, however you like consume content of me, I am so appreciative because I do not think I'm worthy. But
Matt, I only see you this sentimental when you're like 18 or 19 beers deep. It's shocking to see this happening at 6:30 p.m.
Well, I'm only like 8 beers deep, so I'm all right. You know what I mean? I got done work at noon.
Right.
No, I'm good. But
Oh,
I'm
so you've
glad
been
to have.
pre-gaming the 100th,
Oh,
the 100th episode.
yeah, I've been pre-gaming a little bit. I was watching the little golf game. I've never watched golf in my life. I know nothing about golf, but I was watching Aaron Rodgers and like Tom Brady do their thing, and I was on Twitter like trying to figure out what's good. Like I know if they get the ball close to the hole, it's good, and when they get it in, that's definitely good. So like, but it is, and I'll say this real quick. Like people, Packer fans hate Tom Brady. Like it is like I don't. Like I actually like Tom Brady. Like it's an unpopular thing. Like people don't like it. I didn't like him during the NFC Championship game. Obviously, I was rooting against him. But like he just seems like a likable guy to me. He's like he's having fun. He's loving his life, especially when he went to Tampa. He seems to be a lot happier these days. And it's I don't know. I have a hard time. I'm not rooting for him on the field, but just like as a person, I think he's all right.
Right. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you, Matt. Like I used to dislike him during like the 07, 16-0 season or Spygate or Deflategate. Like during those periods was not a Tom Brady guy by any means. But like within the last 5 years, I've grown to really like Tom Brady. Not necessarily on the field. I mean, he's the greatest player of all time, of course. But you know, I look at his Instagram game, his Twitter game. This guy's hilarious. And to see him and Rodgers going back and forth has been a lot of fun.
So like, I posted that quote on my Facebook about Rodgers Tom Brady said he hates his boss or whatever it was, and who is Aaron Rodgers? I forget the exact quote. People can find it. They know what he said. And then people were all mad about it. And then Rodgers like, I never said I hated I forget the exact quote, but he said I never said that. Which I took from that is like Rodgers is saying like I never said that I didn't like my boss or whatever. So like a lot of that stuff might have been blown out a little bit. Obviously, there's some things going on there, but the point of it is like I think that they're friends first of all. So he wasn't roasting Rodgers and trying to be a dick. He was roasting
Rodgers and trying to be a dick, but as a friend.
Yeah, as a friend. Like people like look at like he was like he does, you know, he's trying to be this and that. Like no, they're friends. Like I roast all my guests. Like I was gonna have a former Packer player come on. He couldn't make it because our time schedules didn't work out. So I got Alex Strouf instead. So like, but that those are the type of jokes.
Good cat. Good for the audience.
That's what friends do. Friends roast each other from time to time. Get a little, you know, pick in there. And I think that I wish Rodgers would roast him back a little bit. Like when he said that, like, oh, he doesn't like his boss or this or that, whatever he said. I wish Rodgers would say, you know, something about Spygate, you know, something like, or like Deflategate, like, you know, make sure the golf balls, you know, are not like hollow.
Right. Yeah. Make sure they're not wiffle balls or practice balls. Right. No, absolutely. And that's kind of what I think a lot of people were looking forward to. I haven't watched any of it. I haven't even seen the clip you're talking about yet. But I know a lot of people that were looking forward to this. We're looking forward to it because of the golf aspect whatsoever, right? They were looking for what they can get out of Aaron Rodgers, what Aaron Rodgers is going to say, how they can pick it apart, the back and forth between Charles Barkley, who's calling it with the great Brian Anderson, and Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady and Bryson DeChambeau and Phil Mickelson, the heckling, the talking shit, the going back and forth. Like that's what everybody was looking forward to, not the golf aspect. So apparently it's actually been worth your time a little bit. I thought we weren't going to get a whole lot. I thought they were going to be very locked in, but good to hear there's a lot of trash talking going on.
Oh yeah, like even like during the match, like I wasn't like straight up watching the match. I watched about a half hour. I was like, I've never watched golf in my life, but they were having fun. Like they're all like joking back and forth. Obviously they want to win. They're competitive, but yeah, it's just a bunch of friends like playing golf. I think it's cool because you don't. I don't know. I don't watch a lot of golf, but like there was a lot of talk. You know, like they have cameras set up in the little golf driving carts or whatever they call them, and you know the golfers are talking. Brady was talking. You know, the
golf driving carts. I'm sure that's it. Yeah,
I think that's probably the actual what they call them. It's probably what it is. But So I
Nailed it.
want to get out of the Bucks because but first I want, because I haven't talked to you in a while. I want to talk a little bit about the Packers first, because that's what we do sometimes when I do these.
Every once in a while.
So, what's your thing? Like every now and again, what's your thing with Aaron Rodgers? Because like one thing that irritates me about this whole Aaron Rodgers situation, which I don't like talking about, because it's been talked about in every way, like upside down, sideways, everywhere you can talk about it. But what you're thinking on this, like how, because like a lot of fans, like fans are split. Like at first I was like, no, they're not. These are just lies, because you know the media is saying the fans are split, and I was like, no, they're not. But then they are. They're definitely split. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm sick of the drama, and Aaron Rodgers wants to leave, he can leave. Like, but to me, it's not Aaron Rodgers' drama. Like, yeah, he could have came out and said something, but I don't think he just didn't want to. He's like, whatever. Run with whatever stories you want. Obviously, there's a situation. I think we're losing Alex Strouf here. Okay, he's back. He's back in business. Can you hear me still? I'm not sure you can hear me. Can you hear me? I think we might be losing Aaron.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. No, but like, yeah, I think you're back. But a lot of people are saying like, dude, this is a professional podcast, Alex. All right, let's get it together here.
Yeah, this is going well. Yeah, this is going really well.
This is so stereotypical of my 100th episode. It's just absolute train wreck. But no one expects anything better, so let's keep it rolling, all right? But I don't think that it's drama made by the media. Not completely. Obviously, there's a story there, but like how they keep pumping up every story, anything that, like Aaron Rodgers said today, I'm not. He said, Tom, that's basically not true. I never said I was mad at my boss. So like I said, I was like, ESPN will not post that quote. I guarantee it. Like Bleacher Report will not post that quote. Everyone's posting what Brady said. Like, you know, he's joking around about Rodgers is mad at his boss or whatever. I forget the exact quote. I should have probably put it up here. But like that's the thing. The media likes the drama. They don't like the good quotes. They don't like the quotes where people are trying to squash or whatever. I don't know if Rodgers was. He was just answering a question. But what are your thoughts on this? That's a long ass question. This is like Pat McAfee type of question.
That was a long ass question asked in true rambling Matt Ramage form, right? So to answer your question, which I don't even know if there was even a question in there. I don't think it's a media thing. I think this is real. I understand your point, right? People are diving in. People are pulling every quote out of the air. You know, as a guy in the media, as a guy that works for ESPN Radio, like it's because people are listening, people interact with it, people care what the latest on Aaron Rodgers is. So I think that's the reason that occurs. But there's clearly a real rift there. I mean, if there wasn't a real rift there, why hasn't Aaron Rodgers or the Packers or anybody else come out and said, yeah, there's no beef here. There's no issue here, because that's absolutely the case, Matty. This isn't, you know, completely constructed by the media. There's no way it can be. I mean, there's clearly a real rift here. Now, to answer what I think you're asking is, you know, does this get solved? How does this get solved? I don't know the answer to that. Now with Rodgers, he's obviously a very complex dude. He's clearly unhappy. Well, apparently he didn't say this, but like I said, I haven't seen that clip yet. He feels disrespected by Brian Gutekunst and Mark Murphy. And I mean, Mark Murphy goes in front of a crowd of Packers fans at Lambeau Field. What was this, 2 weeks ago? And calls him a complicated fella. Like, it's through a dead guy that can't, you know, come on and defend himself. And Ted Thompson, that's who he was quoting. So, I mean, there's clearly been happenings where it's like, okay, I'm solvable right now, but I think in time, Rodgers will be under center come week one.
Yeah, and like I totally agree that there absolutely is a rift. Like I'm not saying that there's not a rift. I just think that like they're taking a rift and turn it into like a tidal wave. Like a lot of things are coming out. Like obviously, like there's a problem, because they would have came out and said right from the beginning, like, what are you guys talking about?
If this isn't overblown, then Matt, if this isn't overblown, or if this is overblown rather, why didn't Aaron Rodgers show up for mandatory OTAs? Why did he show up for voluntary OTAs, which he's never missed? I mean, could it just be a reason of, hey, I'm engaged, I want to go do my own thing? this part's voluntary. The other part I don't think is necessary. Sure. I mean, maybe that could be the case, but that's clearly not it. I mean, there's clearly an issue here. I don't think it's completely overblown. But again, I mean, there's probably some legitimacy to that too. I mean, it's somewhere in the middle.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. Like it's somewhere in the middle. I think because he talked about it last offseason, like when they had the owners meeting or whatever they had some type of union thing, and Rogers like I don't know the exact quote because I just heard that he said this, that he was like Tom Brady mentioned it. We have way too many offseason stuff, like MLB doesn't have this, NBA they don't doing heavy lifting, they're not doing heavy hitting type of stuff. So like I don't think that's the only reason, but I think kind of like he was like, I can get out of OTAs. Like, I am kind of pissed at him, and I can make a point. I can Hawaii, and
who wouldn't? Right? Who wouldn't?
And I think a lot. I mean, I don't know. I don't think he needs it. I think someone was saying I didn't hear Nagler say this, but someone was saying Nagler said that he'll probably show up like 2 weeks after training camp, and or like a couple weeks into it. Like, I don't know if he said that, but I could see it. Like, I think at some point Rogers is going to be there. He never requested a trade because that is the big thing to me. That's why I've been yelling. Like, I don't think that it's as big as people think it is. Because if you want out, like everyone says, oh, he wants out of Green Bay. He wants out. Like, if he really wanted out, I think that he would have said, trade me, like Julio Jones. Every player that's ever wanted out of a team, that's how you get out. You say it vocally, you say it loud, you say it publicly, and then the team is kind of in a spot where they're like, well, now we just kind of got to get rid of them because, what do you do? Like the contract and the whole other thing. Anyways, those are my thoughts. I'm winded now.
He'll be back. I think they'll figure it out for at least one more year. They'll figure it out for at least one more year. That's what I'm telling you. I just. There's no way this guy doesn't play football. I don't know when he'll report. I think he'll be there day one. That's just what my gut tells me. I don't know that I'll be right, but like I think he'll be there come training camp. I think he'll get in the mode. He'll get back in the routine. He won't play a single snap in preseason because why would you when there's only 3 games, right? That's time. That's pretty good comment. Aaron Rodgers sneezes. ESPN confirms it means he's signing with Denver. That's a good one, Jeff. So I think, obviously this has been a little bit overblown, I'm sure, to some degree, as Jeff refers to. But, again, there's clearly a rift, but I think he'll be back. I think they'll figure it out for at least one more season. I think there's a lot of work to be done if it's going to be longer than one season. I think that the Jordan Love problem obviously throws a whole nother wrench into this of the already multiple wrenches this issue's juggling.
Yeah, that's something like going back to Jeff talking about the Broncos. Like Bronco fans have been coming at me quite hard. Like they go hard in the paint. Like they don't forget. Like a lot of stuff I tweet or I make a video. I say some stuff. People like get mad at me for a couple of days. Like Viking fans, they have short attention span. Then they move on. Bronco fans have stayed strong because they're like, he's coming to Denver, and I'm like, he's not, and whatever. You guys keep wishing you have a trash quarterback. Draft better, you'd have one. And they come pretty hard. And then now Raiders fans are jumping in the mix because I dude, when someone says they're taking my quarterback, I get mad. So I wouldn't say mad, but I talk trash. I come back at it. He's not going to be in Oakland. He's not going to be in Denver.
No, he's not. And I think that's funny you bring that up because draft night was, I think, the last time you and I did a stream, or maybe even chatted was the last time was draft night. And that was the night that Mark Schlereth of 104.3 The Fan in Denver, obviously formerly an NFL player. I'm not saying that guy doesn't have connections and ins or sources. Like he clearly has the ins. He clearly has connections. He's been everywhere. But that's when he reported, Rodgers to Denver, just about a done deal. That was BS because if it was just about a done deal 3 months ago, why hasn't it been done now when it makes more sense for both sides? So I think that was garbage, and I think these Denver fans will eventually hop off your nuts, but it might be a couple months.
It might be. Yeah, I think it's interesting because I don't think he would just make something up because I don't think that doesn't benefit him. I think he was given bad information. I really do. And he's probably like, screw that guy. Like, why would you do that to me? But so before we jump into this Bucks thing, Devontae Adams, all right, his contract's up. After this season, he'll be a free agent. There's reports coming out like, he'll be he's going to get a massive extension and this and that. I don't know if I buy into that, like where it's going to be like right now. I think that obviously they're working on, they're trying, but I don't think it's that close. I mean, I don't have any knowledge of it. I don't know who reported, but I think it was like one person reported that it's coming soon. I think they're definitely going to try. I think Devontae is probably going to wait and see. It depends. Like the whole Devontae Adams situation, I don't think it's solely on Aaron Rodgers because he's not going to be like, oh, I'm just going to, if they pay him, like he likes money. Like everyone likes money. He likes Green Bay, I'm sure. I think it's not just Aaron Rodgers. There's so many factors that if you're going to sign a long-term deal with a team, there's so many. It's not quarterback, it's the area. It's a lot of things go into it.
Here's breaking news that's not breaking at all, Matty. Devontae Adams is going to become the highest paid wide receiver in the history of the NFL, whether that be in the next couple of months with the Green Bay Packers or it's in several months with another team. Unless he, has an injury-ridden season and a horrible statistics season, he's going to become the highest paid wide receiver of all time. It's just a matter of when that deal gets done and where that deal gets done too. He's the best receiver in football. He's clearly still got at least, 4 good years left. He's still in his mid-20s. He is going to become the highest paid receiver of all time. That'll eventually get broken, of course, but for the time being, that will be the deal he signs. It's just a matter of where and when it happens. And Green Bay, of course, would love it to be with them, but Aaron Rodgers does throw a wrench into it. I don't know that it's necessarily if he's there or not. I think it's more so contractually and the numbers there. And that's nerd stuff I don't know.
Yeah,
but it certainly has something to do with that too. I mean, there's a lot of factors that play into it. Do you really want to sign him to a ginormous contract before you see what this year's production looks like? Because if it looks like last year, that number is going to significantly raise for him if they were to sign it right now. But if it goes down, I don't know how much it changes, but the odds are he's going to go elsewhere.
Yeah. So you think he's going to move on?
I don't necessarily think that. I just don't know.
Oh, okay, you're saying much. I get what you're saying.
The Packers are going to have to pony up at the end of the day, and we know how the Packers are with money, and the answer is not very good. So they're going to have to pony up, similar to the way they did with Aaron Jones and David Bakhtiari and Kenny Clark and Aaron Rodgers. And as you start listing names that they ponied up for, it seems more unlikely that they'll be able to for Devontae Adams. But I doubted him on Aaron Jones, I doubted them on Aaron Jones.
Yeah, you did.
Doubt him
we both did. I posted a video. Aaron Jones will not be signed by the Packers. We love him. Wish him the best. Great guy. I posted it on the internet. The next day they signed him. I think it was like a few days later. I didn't delete it. I was going to delete it because we look like idiots. But no, the Packers are like notoriously cheap. And obviously David Bakhtiari got paid. Aaron Jones got paid. Not like what he could have with what a lot of people are saying. But like
he's still laughing at the bank. He made a lot of money.
Yeah, he's doing all right. He's not taking on no loans.
He's a Green Bay guy. I mean, we love that Aaron Jones signing. But again, I love as you start rattling off those names that have huge paydays in terms of what Green Bay will give out. It looks like it's going to be significantly harder to sign Devontae Adams. But again, I'm not going to doubt him, especially if we're 9 months out from a deal. Yeah, because it's hard to have like a bunch of players who are the top paid in the league. So I get, because I'm pretty cheap, and my wife told me I want a new coach, and I was like, no, we don't need a new coach. And you know what? We got a new coach. So it's kind of the same with the Packers. They need a new coach. They need to keep Devontae Adams. I'm not a money guy. Like I have no idea what the salary cap. That's why I follow people on Twitter that do. I watch them and then I just copy what they say. No, but I hope that they can get it done, get something done with Devontae Adams. But I don't know. Anyways, but before we jump into this Bucs thing, one last Packer question. This defense. All right, we got the Stoked, Stokes for Stoked. I don't know if that's a shirt yet, but it should be. Maybe I should make it. But Stoked for Stokes. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good shirt. Cheesehead TV will so steal that.
Yeah, they will. You're right.
I won't even be mad if they do. But this defense, not just him, I think the pass rush is going to be ridiculous this season. I think Preston Smith, he came in all looking fit. Everyone's excited about it. Zadarius Smith obviously is going to do his thing. Rashawn Gary came up last season. Now, if the secondary plays like as good as everyone wants him to, like obviously Alexander's going to do his thing, but like you can't have someone on the other side that can get picked on. So like, what are your thoughts on this defense going into 2021?
They'll be better than last year. I really believe that from the bottom of my heart, which is a good sign, right? Because we expect this offense to be, assuming Aaron Rodgers is there, just as good. You know, I shouldn't say if not better, because it's going to be hard to be a better offense than you were last year. They were the best in the NFL. You know, there's a very high chance they digress. But again, I think I said that after 2 seasons ago, Matt LaFleur's first season in Green Bay, that offense was so good. But anyway, the defense I'm excited about. I think they'll be better. I mean, everybody expects Rashawn Gary to take a significant jump in terms of his production and playing time, really. You mentioned, obviously, one of the bigger concerns, if not the biggest concern on the defensive end, and that's the corner opposite of Jair Alexander. You know, you've got a bunch of stud defensive backs right now in Jair Alexander, Adrian Amos, and Darnell Savage. I mean, those are just ridiculous talents, right? It's just a matter of who plays opposite. We know probably week 1 it's going to be Kevin King again, and I know a lot of people watching this right now don't love that, but that's why they re-signed him. That's why they brought him back. He has experience, on the team. It's a new system, obviously, with a new defensive coordinator, but I mean, it's a guy that knows the teammates, knows some of the stuff they'll be doing. So he's bringing a veteran stance. He'll start there, but obviously the hopes are that Eric Stokes eventually takes over as a starter for Kevin King, and then it's Stokes, Alexander, Amos, and Savage as your 4 starting defensive backs. Which sitting right here, what's the date today? July 6th. That amps me up. Those are 4 pretty awesome names, as long as Eric Stokes can really develop and become the first round pick that the Packers want him to be.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like if they can get like that second is legit. Like it just, a lot of people are worried about Kevin King, and I get it because the NFC Championship game, that what it was. But Kevin King he's not horrible. He's not like people act like he's like the worst thing in the world. He's not. He's just I'm not gonna say he's put in bad situations. Like you got to own it. Like he didn't do well. He was put in some bad situations, but it is what it is. But if Stokes come on quicker, the better.
Obviously, people aren't going to forgive and forget. People are not going to forgive and forget that situation in the NFC Championship game against Tampa Bay, right? I mean, obviously, that was ultimately a blown coverage by Kevin King that, however you look at it, may or may not have resulted in the result we got. I mean, I'll argue against that, but obviously, that was a big turning point in that NFC Championship game. And you mentioned it. He's been in other bad situations whether it's been blown coverages or missed tackles or just other mistakes. He's been disappointing. Obviously, the injury path that he's had, he's been hurt quite a few times since he's been drafted. But he hasn't been as big of a disappointment as somebody like Josh Jackson has been for the Packers. So, there is a bright side to that. And he's going to bring, some veteran experience to that defensive backfield right out of the gates this season. And again, hopefully, eventually, sometime during the regular season, Eric Stokes becomes that number 2 or that number 1 guy in front of Kevin King.
Yeah. First of all, I gotta give a shout. He's a hater. One bad llama. Best coverage I ever saw. I have to give him a show because he watches every live I do and just trolls me. So shout out to One Bad Llama. He's not a Packer fan. But
but he's always here. We can respect that. He's always here.
Before we get into the Bucks, I want to give I got to do a quick thing right here. Let's do it. Here we go. Oh, dude, I'm not good at stuff. Here we go. FuegoBox.com. Go check it out. You get some hot sauce. You use promo code Matt10. You get 10% off all your products and subscriptions. They find the best hot sauce all across the land, and you can get it. So check out FuegoBox.com and get yourself some hot sauce. All right, people?
Mr. Moneybags Matt Ramage. Moneybags Matty all of a sudden here. He's got Fuego Box. He's got Quick Trip. Moneybags Matty coming to you live with this 100th episode.
100 episodes, baby. All right, but it's actually really good. Like I get so much of this stuff. They send it to me, and everyone loves it. I hand it out. I use it. My kids use it. Anyways, FrancoBox.com. We'll get you some. Matt 10, 10% off. But let's talk about the Milwaukee Bucks. What's that sound? What's going on over there, Alex? You got like a gerbil eating on your microphone? What's happening?
My mic is muted. I think that's coming from you, buddy.
No, because when you muted it, it stopped. It's gone now. What's a little bit there? Yeah, because it stopped now. So Alex mutes himself. The sound stops. But we're going to keep it moving. Unmute yourself. You'll be all right. We're almost done here.
I'm still hearing it. That's an issue. Yeah. I'm still hearing it.
All right. So Milwaukee Bucks. Does Giannis play tonight?
I say no. I don't know if there's been an announcement around that because we're an hour from tip. I assume there may have been an announcement about it. I haven't seen it yet. But I'm going to say probably not tonight. If he wants to, I wouldn't doubt it, but I don't know. I don't love the idea of it. If he does, let's like Mark Spears said this on ESPN Radio earlier today. One of the NBA guys for ESPN. He said, if he's cleared to play him. But if he doesn't look like himself, if he doesn't look great, pull him. It should be as easy as that because you don't want a James Harden or Trae Young situation where it's just the corpse of Giannis out there. This offense looked good. The defense is always going to be better with Giannis and Antetokounmpo in the lineup. But, offensively, they've looked really good. And I know the Suns are a heck of a lot better of a team. The Suns are a heck of a lot better than a team than the Hawks were. But regardless, obviously we got Giannis to be healthy, and we don't want anything bad happening there.
Yeah.
Anything worse happening, I should say.
We got this comment right here. He was upgraded questionable, but if it were me, I'd let him sit one more game and have him playing game 2. Like, yeah, he was upgraded to questionable. Alex is frozen, or either that or he's chugging that beer. But I don't see him playing tonight, and I'm not sure that that's a horrible thing. Like, they play great team ball. Like, I'm not a basketball guy. I'm definitely not no basketball guru. I'm not no basketball know-it-all. I'm not a football know-it-all. I sure as hell ain't a basketball know-it-all. But it seemed like they played a lot of good team basketball, and they need to sprinkle that in a little bit, like when Giannis is on the field. The same thing like when Devontae Adams missed games, whatever year that was, 2019. Or was it last? I don't know. Where he was hurt and like they played a lot more team, like throwing the ball all around. I think the same thing with Giannis being out, that they played a lot better team ball. So when he does join them, whether it's this game, whether it's next week or the next game, play the same type of ball, but also have Giannis just dunking on fools. I think that I think Alex was froze there, but I think he's back on this one. I think we have to. I'm not sure what's going on. I'll remove that one, bring Alex back in. He was kicked. But yeah, that's what I think. Like, I don't think you heard any of that, Alex.
Now there's 2 of me? What the hell's going on?
There was 2 of you. Because you froze up. Dude, this is so great for my 100th episode. I'm not even upset at all that you're all laggy and everything, because this is so great for my 100th episode. It's kind of what the show is. It's a train wreck, but we have a good time. You know what I mean? We have a good time. So, Alex, let me ask you this. Do the Bucks win tonight, and do they win the series?
Ooh.
It's a great question.
They don't win tonight. They don't win. They don't win tonight, but they do win the series. I refuse to pick against them. However, it's been an emotional last 2 series for the Bucks. Obviously, you had the game 7 overtime matchup with the Nets in the semifinals. You have the conference finals with Giannis getting hurt. You finally get over that hump that's been eluding you for the last 3 years. Obviously, if you're a Milwaukee Bucks fan, you know it's finals against Toronto hurt, and then they lose in the Heat, who eventually win the East. And then this year they finally get over the hump, but Giannis gets hurt in that 7-game series. So they're exhausted. They've only had 2 days off. Phoenix has had that's awesome. That'd be really cool. But I don't even remember my thought anymore. I'm now thinking about an evil twin, having an evil twin. That is a scary thought.
For anyone listening, we got a great comment here. That's the breaking story for your 100th episode. Alex has an evil twin because we're having all types of malfunctions here. I'm actually gonna let you go here pretty quick. We're gonna end this thing. But everyone, dude, I truly appreciate everyone who tunes into this 100th episode. Not going so great. Alex doesn't have Wi-Fi yet, but one of my favorite guests to have on. We did post-game shows all last season. Maybe we'll do it again this coming up season. Alex is my guy. He's a little bit more knowledgeable than me, just a little bit, but he
just a little bit. Not a lot.
Just a little bit. I was trying to think of a way to disrespect you, but I couldn't come up with anything. But yeah, but let's go Bucks. All right. Dude, I want the Bucks to win so bad. Like, I'm not a huge basketball guy. Like, I'm not a fair weather fan. Like, I'm not gonna act like, oh, I've been riding on them like forever. I'm a Wisconsin guy. I support all the teams, but like football is like my main sport. I'm not a huge basketball guy. Like, my kids are huge into the Bucks. Like, they care a lot. You know what I mean? So I watch games like they're watching, but I'm not a basketball. They play a lot of games. You know, I have a job.
Maddie, look, nobody cares. Nobody cares about your fandom credentials.
No, they do, because they call me on them. I'll post a Facebook post. Go Bucks! Like, oh, I didn't see you posting anything.
Credentials. Everybody, all aboard the Bucks bandwagon. They're in the NBA. They're in the NBA Finals. Everybody, welcome
all
on the bandwagon.
You know what I mean? So Alex will be on again soon. Maybe we'll do it next week when you get some Wi-Fi. We'll do it again, or whatever, a couple weeks or whatever.
Choo, baby. Choo. I love it.
Like, you're so way behind me. It's fantastic. All right, everyone, thanks for tuning in. If you're listening to the podcast and you're still listening, send me a message on Twitter, Facebook, whatever, because you are a real one, because this audio is probably sketchy as hell, but I'm posting it. This is episode 100. I'm very happy to get there. I never thought I would have 100 episodes. So shout out to everyone who tuned in through this whole time. Shout out to people who came on, and, you know, especially Alex, since he's in front of me right now. But this is fun. This football season, though, the Green Bay Packers 2021 season is going to be so fun. I'm going to go down to training camp. Are you going to head down to training camp at any point?
I assume this is coming up 30 seconds after you ask the question. But, yeah, I'll probably make it up there for a few.
Maybe we'll link up and we'll shotgun some beers, do a video or something. You know what I mean?
That sounds fantastic to me. You let me know when and where, and I'll be there.
All right, everyone, thanks for tuning in. I know this the audio is a little off, everything's a little off, but that's how we do it on the Matt Ramage Show, baby. All right, you know what I mean? Shout out to Alex Strouf, shout out to Game on Wisconsin.
Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go, baby. Go Bucks, go Pack, go. We'll see you next time, y'all.